Let's start it right. Cheers, folks. It is Sunday now. And I got up just now at 10. I had an extraordinarily good day yesterday. And music was a big part of it. So let me recount it with you, for you. But first up, I want to say before I forget that my last video really struck a nerve with several people. And that really, I love it when that happens. The first part where I talked about my history of being discounted, by others regarding my art when I knew better. And hearing from you other folks who have had similar experiences and also your thoughts regarding it. It's like, that's just really... It's good to know. It's always good to know you're not alone, but it's also good to hear other people's experience and frustration. It is important for us to believe in ourselves, and as I've said many times here, as a hobbyist who's become an actual careerist musician, it was always for me. Number one, it was always trying to discover what I could do. I never wanted to be in a band for sex, to try to attract girls or guys. Never. That was never the intent, ever. It's always been about the experience of what music does to me. So, I am an alumnus of the Bemis Center for Contemporary Art. I'm an alumnus artist, so I'm on their newsletter and mailing list, and I knew about the artist Maya Dunietz being in town doing a residency, an Israeli pianist, choir conductor, composer. So I knew that she was in town, and they were about to do the grand reception or whatever you call for her exhibit. So I knew about that. Yeah, Maya Dunietz Root of Two, where she had the entire first level of the Bemis Center tricked out with all of these interactive pieces, and the surprise was that when the prompt came up in my email yesterday, it also said that Roscoe Mitchell of the Art Ensemble of Chicago was going to be performing at the opening. I about dropped everything. I about dropped my copy. What? Roscoe Mitchell is in Omaha, Nebraska? What? And I'm just now finding out about it on the day. I snapped that ticket up so fast. I thought about taking some records, and I did, but I didn't. I said the main thing I want to do is experience this man. Unbelievable that I'm going to finally see this legend play live. I mean, he is a history-making musician. Look him up. Roscoe Mitchell and the Art Ensemble. They broke ground. They did things that are still resonating to this day for the Arts Community International. So I went, and it was extraordinary. Roscoe Mitchell is very old. He's about 81 or 82 years old. So when I got there, I was, there's a lot to try to explain. I'll try to keep it brief, but part of Maya's exhibit was this room of pianos that are all hooked up to these, she told me what they're called. Maybe it's on here. I'd never heard of them before. But what they are is like, they're kind of like these, it's like they vibrate. It's like you hook them up to a source like wood or something that, and then you send a signal through it, and it plays the signal through that instrument. So the pianos were hooked up to these things, and they're vibrating at different frequencies and different stuff. And it's really a very sense surround experience. That was the room that Roscoe Mitchell played in, and that's where I met him. And he's really old and fragile, so he didn't really want to talk much. But really, the main thing I wanted to just tell him how much of an honor it was, and then of course I took some pictures with him. But I also picked up Maya Dunietz's. This is her document of the residency. And I love this about art and artists, because you're not going to find this record in a record store, number one. And then I didn't get a chance to ask her about the cover, which of course is intriguing and also can be slightly like, oh, what are we seeing? But I love that about these things, and it's like, I had to get it. It's like, well, I won't get this any other way. It's an experience. It's the sound of the exhibit. And so, no, you're never going to hear this on the radio. And I could put this on, I could play this, because I'll put it on for a while and let it just start to go, and you'll see what I mean. Experientially, this was intense. And she played piano. Listen to that. And Roscoe interacted, played along with the sound, played against the sound, used silence, and then it goes on. See what I mean? It's vibratory, like an audio massage, similar to the My Bloody Valentine experience. Vibrations. Roscoe Mitchell's playing was, even though he was old and frail, he moved slow. When he got on the baritone sax, it was a revelation. He didn't blow crazy like when he was younger, and a lot. And it makes sense because of physically. But the power and the vision of what he played it was a lesson. It was revelatory. It was interesting to watch and listen, because it's like he was able to play. He has so much experience with horns that he could play the baritone sax and make the sound travel within the horn. I pointed this out to one of my musician friends I was there with. But notice how the sound is coming out of this side of the sax now. Now he's got it coming from the very center, real deep tones. And then somehow he's got it playing the other side of the bell, and it has a whole nother timbre to it. Very extraordinary. It was wonderful. To get ready for the show, I was blown away. Like I said, I already had something to go to today, a wedding reception, which I seldom go to wedding receptions and stuff like that. This one was special. There was an important reason I needed to make an appearance. I'm glad I did. But this happened right before that at the Bemis Center, and in preparing to go to hear him play and meet him, I played the Roscoe Mitchell Sextet Sound. This is no bullshit, people. This is, if you want to really be familiar with the history of jazz, free jazz, and just free music creation, the art ensemble, and Roscoe Mitchell in particular, you need to check him out. Here's another original on Nessa, 1968. The Roscoe Mitchell Art Ensemble, Congliptious. See, they didn't become the Art Ensemble of Chicago until they went to Paris. And that's the story from their mouths, including Roscoe. That's when they dubbed themselves the Art Ensemble of Chicago, when they went to Europe. And I don't have nearly enough art ensemble. Great black music. Reese and the Smooth Ones. The other thing about the band is that they've always employed, here's the other one, Message to Our Folks. Really important music. Really important things that these men did and opened doors. That's Roscoe right there. Groundbreaking, and also a sense of humor, I was trying to say, yeah. But the sense of humor was in disguise them saying, oh, we see what's really going on. And a lot of what's going on isn't funny. But you'll listen to us talk about it if we put it like this. Massa. Some really cool stuff relating to the history of racism in America. Congo. Excellent album. Excellent. They didn't mess around. I've mentioned this in videos before. To me, this is an early ambient album, and it's jazz. People in Sorrow. Check this album out. This came out in '69. Yeah. It was recorded on my birthday, July 7, 1969. This is really one of the first ambient music albums. But no one calls it that. But listen to it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a deep album. People in Sorrow. Fantastic. Art Ensemble ended up on the amazing ECM label and made several records for the label. All of them worth hearing. All of them worth checking out. You know, I nearly bowed at Roscoe Mitchell's feet, not stupidly, but with sincere reverence, I stopped myself, but I just about did. I just told him I told him I almost couldn't believe that I was in his presence. This one is killer. This is the first one I ever bought by them, Phase 1. I've had this since 1973. Check this out. And yes, the embracing of our deeper roots, and I will say our, as a black person in America, the embracing of the African art was part of our heritage. That was important to them to bring that into the picture. All of these are well worth it. All these. Full Force on ECM. Okay. Urban Bushmen on ECM. All these. This one seems to be one that got popular. I think it's because of the title, Nice Guys. Do you know what I'm saying, some of y'all? Oh, they're approachable. Incredible musicians. And here's another fantastic, Tutankhamun. I definitely want some more art ensemble in my collection. That was fantastic. And then after that, I went to this wedding reception. I told you, I think. Well, also, Craig, it was great to see you. As it turns out, you watch all of my videos. And we haven't hung out and listened to music in a long time. We ought to do that. But it was good to see you, Craig. And Steve Tuco Jacobs, who makes videos here in the Vital community, I saw him at the wedding reception for a young man and woman, Chad and Jen. And Chad, I've told you about, is a person I started working with in the mental health system. And, while I was there and hanging out at the reception and talking and hooking up with people and everything, the story was, again, confirmed and told by Chad, and then his wife said, you've been like a savior to him. And then Chad told me at one point in the evening, I'm trying to say a lot in a short amount of time, but Chad was in the hospital as scapegoat for a larger issue with his family. Now, he was hyper, but he was also a mongoloid, kind of frightening looking boy, okay? And people were abusive as a result, It's like that's why I became literally an advocate for him in the hospital to get the staff to not pick on him and to scapegoat him, even on the units. You know, when some shit would go down, and they'd say, "Well, someone's going to the quiet room. We can't have this mess." And they'd be throwing Chad, and I'd say, "Wait a minute, he didn't start nothing." So anyway, Chad shared with me at his reception that, he said, "I was trying to figure out what it is, why you mean so much to me." And he said, "You're the first person who told me to believe in myself." And it's true. I could see he was a good person. Even as that troubled boy in the hospital, I could tell. If you follow me, I put the picture of us on Facebook. You'll see it. It's me and Chad and Blake, the trumpet player that I talk about, who, it turns out, Blake knows Chad's wife, and they've known each other since they were kids. So the connection was beautiful, and Blake and Cubby from Chemicals played for the reception. Chad knew that I knew Blake, but he didn't realize I knew the other person that Blake played with, Cubby. I probably could have played, but that's fine. I want to share these things because I don't like to drink, so I don't go out except to play or for special things. When I go out, I'm assaulted with love, and I'm also blown away. I guess I should realize this, but it's still special to me how well I am known here in town for what I do. Like, for example, at the Roscoe Mitchell performance, I ended up sitting with people I knew, and then on the other side of me was a person I didn't know or didn't think I knew. And when the performance was over, the person turns to me and says, "Dereck." Yeah. And it turned out to be someone who I had befriended on Facebook and had never met before. And he was thrilled to meet me. And that happens. And it happened just everyone that I encountered, people who at the reception, there were all kinds of people. There are a lot of people who, if you look at them, just look at them, you think they're probably rednecks. And these are some of the greatest people. And I know some of them, and some of them who I didn't remember all knew me. And it's you reap what you sow, people, okay? That's why I don't put up with people coming over here trying to start shit with me. Those are people, they don't know me and have never been involved with me personally. So I don't allow it. No disrespect. None. And no racism. I deal with that. Some of you people have seen it over the years. People come over here and just leave the nastiest racist comments, and other people are just jerks. It brings up another thing. At the Roscoe Mitchell, one of the people that I ran into was this guy that worked in a record store. I won't say his name, but he is young and was a jerk. Okay, he was being such a jerk that I had befriended him, but then I didn't know what was going on with him, but he was really not being socially cool and really talking like a self-centered idiot. So I saw him at the show. It was good to see him, and I complimented him on he finally put out a CD of his music. It's pretty good. So I get up in the morning and I see on my phone that he has messaged me to apologize for being an asshole to me in the past, and realizing it was just totally uncalled for. And I let him know I sincerely appreciate this apology because I knew you were better than that. And he came back and said to me, I'm going to look it up. I feel blessed, people. You get what you give, okay? What did he say? Yeah. Glad you realized that in a time. I said, I truly appreciate this apology. I knew you were a better person than that. And he says to me, glad you realized that in a time when I couldn't. Hope all is well with you. So the proof is in the pudding, people. Respect and kindness and love, it's not hard to do, and so I don't really understand why we don't have more harmony and peace. It just, it just blows my mind, especially when I look again at the political. It's like the people that are in office aren't even human anymore, and what they're doing with laws and the courts, and it's like these people aren't even human. Something's like there's some kind of virus in them, a really bad one. So, had a super day. Music was a big part of it. Music and how I live and how I see things are all totally intertwined. That's why some music I just don't bother with. It's not that I don't like it or that I think it's bad. It's just that it doesn't resonate with what's going on with me. So that's what I tell you about what I'm listening to, and I feel no obligation to represent anything or anyone. I tell you about what I like and what's important to me. Period. And I love doing it. It's a wonderful thing. It is. So be well, people, and share the best parts of you. And if you're not in touch with the best parts of you, now's a good time to get going. Love yourself and share that. That's what we have to offer, is what's inside. We can't fake it. If you don't care about yourself, if you don't value yourself, you are giving out blank checks to people. And you may be fooling some people, but you're not fooling yourself. So come on, people. I met Roscoe Mitchell of the Art Ensemble of Chicago. I hope he lives a lot longer, but I can tell and when I put my arm around him, it was a bag of bones, frail. But when he played that horn, man, a master musician. It was such an honor. Okay, I could just say that over and over again.